Hello, my dear listeners. How are you all? I hope you are doing your best to serve your duties with utmost honesty and love. So, with this good wish, let's start a new chapter from the life of our master, Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa Dev. So, let's begin. Ramlala. The incident of Ramlala is one of the most affecting episode in the life of Sri Ramakrishna because it shows how the Supreme may be approached and realized through the channel of human sentiment. Through it is demonstrated the truth that God is neither a hard taskmaster nor an eternally receding abstract entity, but the nearest and dearest of all, always willing to make himself known to his devotees. If we but stretch one hand out to touch him, he responds with both. So kind and so loving is he. It was probably about the year 1864 that Jotadhari first came to Dakshineshwar. He was an itinerant monk and a devotee of Rama. In his close association with Sri Ramakrishna, he was able to guide him in some of the various modes of worship. The master often said that Jatadhari's love and yearning for God was fearless. Ramlala, or the child Rama, was his favorite deity, and he gave himself up to his service. By long meditation and worship, Jatadhari had made great progress in spirituality and had been blessed with a wonderful vision of Rama. His mind remained always on a high level of spiritual consciousness. The distractions of the world were left far behind, and he saw in the image which he always carried about with him the effulgent form of the young Rama. Occasionally at first, but later constantly, so that eventually his beloved Ishtadeva became a living presence to him. The service of Ramlala was his sole preoccupation. He nursed him, fed and played with him, and at night even put him to bed. He forgot everything else, his own personal comfort and pleasure, in this sadhana. Jatadhari had never told anyone of his vision, but he could not hide it from Sri Ramakrishna. Intimately familiar with the various states of divine consciousness, he discovered Jatadhari's cherished secret. He observed the ecstasy that constantly overpowered the new sadhu and invited him to stay at Dakshineshwar. He would spend hours with him, watching his impassioned devotion to Ramlala. The Babaji said the master letter to a group of disciples was the lifelong devotee of Ramlala whom he carried wherever he went. He would cook whatever he got by begging and offer it to him. He actually found that Ramlala took the food. Sometimes he would demand something else. Again, he would act like a spoiled child. Jatadhari was engaged day and night in the service of the image and was in a state of constant bliss. I could see the actions of Ramalala, so I used to spend the whole day with the Babaji to watch him. Days passed in this way, and Ramlala became more and more intimate with me. As long as I remained with Jatadhari, Ramlala was cheerful, but the moment I left, he followed me to my room. No argument would affect him. At first, I thought that it might be A hallucination. For how could Ramlala prefer me, particularly a stranger, to Jatadhari, whose whole life was spent in his service? I argued that I might be deceived once or twice, but this scene was repeated every day. I saw Ramlala as vividly as I see you all. Now dancing gracefully before me, now springing on my back, or insisting on being taken up in his arms. Sometimes I would hold him on my lap. He would not remain there, but run to the fields in the sun, pluck flowers from thorny bushes, or jump into the Ganges. I would remonstrate, saying, "Don't run in the sun, your feet will get blistered. Don't remain so long in water, you will catch cold and get a fever." But Ramlala would turn a deaf ear. He would fix beautiful eyes on me and smile, or like a naughty boy, he would go on with his pranks, or pout his lips, or make faces at me. Sometimes I would lose my temper and cry, "Wait, you naughty boy, I am going to beat you black and blue." I would drag him away and, diverting him with various toys, ask him to play inside the room. But sometimes I lost patience and slapped him. With tearful eyes and trembling lips, he would look at me. Oh, what pain I would feel then for having punished him. I would take him in my lap and console him. All these things actually happened. One day, Sri Ramakrishna continued, I was going to bathe. Ramlala insisted on accompanying me. I took him with me, but he would not come out of the water, nor did he heed my remonstrances. Then I got angry and, pressing him under the water, said, "Now play in it, as much as you like." Ah, I saw him struggling for breath. Then, repenting of my act, I took him up in my arms. Another incident pained me greatly, and I wept bitterly for it. He insisted on having something which I could not supply. To divert him, I gave him some parched rice, not well husked. As he was chewing them, I found his tender tongue was scratched. The sight was too much for me. I took him on my lap and cried out, "Mother Kaushalya used to feed you with cream or butter with the greatest care, and I was so thoughtless as to give you this coarse stuff." In recounting the incident, he was overpowered by the same feeling and wept so bitterly that his hearers were moved to tears. But they got a faint glimpse of the master's impassioned love for Ramlala. So, my dear friends, today we are stopping here. We will return back with a new episode from our journey into the life of our master Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansadev. Till then, be happy, be jolly, be safe, and keep praying. Shubhamastu.